We don't have enough of the inside of the.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we have 6 inches. We have 4 inches.
Whoa, this is amazing. Dropping off Richard's Jeep at this off-road shop, and they have this insane Mustang out here. Oh my god, something happened to the roof. Oh no. Look at this thing. This is nuts. What an amazingly cool car. Sure, this is all super normal for Americans, but for us Europeans, this is super rad. Look at those things. Love that stuff. I really shouldn't get into 4x4 stuff because it would just totally spiral out of control. I like the shape of the cage. Kind of gives it a VW buggy look. Everybody knows I'm a sucker for auto meter, really. As you can see, we are moving the transmission forward on the Corvette for packaging reasons, much easier to work on, and we can get a dog box this way. We're using American Racing headers that are slightly modified for this application by Nick. Looking really good, mocking it up like this.
You know what that is? Cal Custom is the valve covers and air cleaners. Look at this shift knob. It's the mom and the pop's feet.
Oh.
That's how you get it on. So you pull on it, right?
That's
and
nuts.
it pulls it into gear, and you push on it, puts it in the park.
I love this thing. It's so cool. Wow.
It's the original wood in the cab, the original ash. It's 1940. That's the original tar paper.
Oh my god. Wow. I can't
All
believe
these
it.
trucks were red. This truck spent its entire life at a beef ranch in Montana and got painted blue in the 50s, and that's it.
And it's still the 50s paint on that, and a nice beer keg as a gas tank.
That's what they had in the shop at the time that would fit at the time.
It's a hot rod thing, right? The beer kegs.
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
those
it
things.
was when I was a kid, you know, in the 70s.
And where did the motor come from? So this is
The motor
this
came
is
out
a
of
double
this-
pumper. So
Yeah, that's it. That's an 850 Holly, and then it's got a 1-to-1 link,
right.
and the engine is 1967 Olds 425. It has extremely modified 71 7A heads on it for the small chamber.
Yeah.
And it has the 2075 1725 valves
Right.
in it, and all opened up. And there runs the big block intake. And then it just has a coated manifold exhaust because it's just no way to spaghetti headers.
Exactly. There's no way to get that.
Yeah, so the exhaust is all Mandrel, and it's all thermal barrier coated. And it runs into a merged Y underneath, and then goes out through a sleeve in the frame,
Oh yeah.
so that underneath the vehicle is smooth.
So yeah, so it's super low
Super low.
It's incredible to fit a motor like that into a cab like, or to a chassis like that. That's amazing. And you have the wooden spacer. That's a thing, of course.
The phenolic resin, yes.
Yep.
It's the best. Well, this is something they made back in the day. See, the latch came apart?
Yep.
So they made this out of a piece of strap and a piece of bar.
Yeah, simple. It needs to work on the beef farm. That is so cool.
This little Rambler is a hardtop coupe, one of the rarest cars ever produced, 1 year only. That's got 67,000 miles. That one has 82,000 miles. That is one of 35 NASCAR homologation Buicks.
No way.
For the 74 to 77 racing season on the 4 large tracks.
What the hell?
It has stage 1 heads on a 350 from the factory, which the factory never offered stage 1s on a small block.
So the 4 large tracks, would that be Talladega,
Yeah,
Daytona, Atlanta probably?
Probably.
And there must be a 4th one.
I'm not a big NASCAR follower. I quit following after Cali all over.
Oh,
Yeah, I quit following it and everything.
this is
So this is literally one of the rarest cars on the planet. This is registered by Hemmings as ER, extremely rare.
right.
They made 23 of these.
Wow.
This is the last year of the 3-year run of the bathtub Nashes that spawned 4 other car designs.
Oh, right.
And this is a 51 which has fins on the back because the rest were all smooth on the run.
It's such a huge car on the inside. Like you could put a family in there. That's nuts.
And then it has curved wing windows, one-piece windshield, 40s. And so I had to go through and take it out of hibernation. It was asleep for a long time. So I went through the fuel system, did everything, and got everything running beautiful after going through the points and whatnot.
Yep.
And the radiator was plugged, so I had to make a radiator for it.
Oh, right.
Because I can't just go buy a 40 Dodge Radiator.
Nope.
This is a business coupe, so I have no back seat.
Yeah. So it's for like traveling salesmen. Yeah.
Yes, so
And
they
they could
use
sleep
something-
in them as well, right?
Look how big the hood. If you think about it, that's a 6-cylinder long hood,
Yeah.
and it's just tucked away in there.
It's nuts. Like it's.
And then the folds down over there, so you slide the seat forward, fold that door.
Yeah.
and
So
you
I
can
heard that
rest
they
it.
sleep in them. The traveling
Yes.
salesmen, they'd sleep in these things.
Yeah, well, there's already 6 feet right
Yeah,
there.
already.
And then you could fold it down. Even the tallest guy could sleep.
And people were a little smaller in the
And
40s.
they had J.C. Whitney and them had enclosures you could buy to tent out the back.
Oh, wow.
Studebaker and Nash and I think Rambler all had factory camper versions.
Crazy. Yeah, because they're such big cars. Like if you compare them to a normal modern car, this is so nice. Look at that wood trim. This is lovely. Oh yeah, really cool.
Out of this. And
So-
put in the Rambler with a narrowed 9-inch.
So what's the story with? Because there's a lot of these around for some reason. These super. Like
Well-
they use like the boat drive, or what is that? Like I saw it on Roadkill when they
This
went.
is the Roadkill van.
Oh, this is that thing.
This is that van.
No way. All right, because they went up to get one of those drives. I think that's the episode I saw.
Doing the Wheelie Bob episode, a friend of mine was filming it. They broke the cassale. They borrowed the cassale out of this. Did the one episode that you saw on TV with them doing the
Yeah.
wheelies. And then we got this back.
Oh man, this is so
And
so.
this was a V8 van that Slim did. Slim built a van. He built 6 of these.
So Slim is the guy that's like the dude
Slim's,
for.
he's a bike builder, well known in the bike.
Oh, he's the guy that they went to in the episode, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, and that's just because this is his one little foray into the cars. And he's done other things, but this is one thing that's really done well.
It's so
As
crazy.
you can see, I drive it.
Oh yeah, it's got the Michelin, little Michelin guy on there.
Yeah, the old pewter one.
I'm a big odometer guy. I put odometer in all my stuff. Oh, it's even got a AFR wide bed, I guess, or even a normal
so
one.
what we did for tuning in the beginning, you know, because we actually run this on the freeway.
Oh man.
We drive an hour one way in this thing.
Oh, it's got a little rod. Where did that come from?
That's a Horstman rod for aluminum brakes or alcohol brakes and Stratton.
Oh, alcohol bricks and Stratton. What the hell?
Well, yeah, the kids race those 5-horse lawnmowers at 35, 40 horse.
Oh my god! And they make rods for those. They make rods for lawnmower motors.
Yes.
What amazing! Oh, it says Roadkill episode 52 study.
Hey, you know what this is?
It's from a fridge, I guess.
Or from a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, for a vacuum cleaner, right? Oh, of course. I thought it was a fridge brand.
Yeah, it could be, and I think that was a fridge brand too.
Yeah.
But for here, I think Kelvinators was one of the big ones. Electrolux was another big one, but
Yep.
Electrolux was more into vacuums. They had the torpedo body vacuum. that was
Oh,
so
yeah.
strong, right?
Well, they're actually collectible probably now.
They look like little Zeppelins.
That's so cool. This is so nasty. Well, it's actually not that bad. Like, from watching the episode, I thought it was going to be really bad sitting in these, but it's actually not too bad. And I'm 6'4".
I use the cushions from the couch if I have to drive very far.
Oh, man. And as all those, like the gas sources, like for European people, it's very difficult to understand why they have that stance and how they don't.
The easiest way to understand is the tires were hard. So we needed the weight transfer to put all the weight onto the rear axle, change our whole polar moment to the position of only one axle.
Exactly.
Okay, because we didn't want to lift the front,
Exactly.
but we didn't want to spin the tires down the track, especially going
Exactly.
through the traps. So tire technology took a huge leap in 70, and by 71 all the gassers could get their noses out of the air
Exactly.
because the 60-foot time could go up, and they made a flipper and then a funny.
Right.
And that's the gasser. And so the gasser was the first unlimited class.
This is crazy. I love
Your
these things.
donor vehicle, you weren't allowed to change the wheelbase from your donor vehicle, and leading spark plug could be no more than 10% rear of front axle center line
Right.
of the wheelbase. And then your classes were divided up in cubic inch and weight.
Right.
Okay, and then the fourth rule was they had to be registered street car
Right.
with the working lights and all that.
So this is like
So-
stuff that people would drive at like Van Nuys Boulevard and all that stuff.
They'd go and race for serious money, and they would also race in the unlimited classes at the drag strips on the weekends, especially at Lions.
Did you do any of that stuff? Is that like
No,
your-
I'm just right behind it where I
Right.
could see it happening and going out, and then things obviously had changed. You know, when I started getting more involved, they were racing Vegas and
Oh, right. Yeah.
whatnot.
Because that whole culture all comes from that, like from the valley, basically, where all that stuff, all those people race those cars.
So what we did for this one that's different than the others, and the reason they wanted me to do it is because this is how I do it, is we didn't touch the frame.
Oh, it's
This
just
is a
bolted on.
bolt-on.
Because I was looking at
Okay.
that. It's all bolted on.
Right, so just the pickup points for the shackles and the rear welded,
Right.
and then the anchors and shackle mounts in the rear.
Because
So
you reach a point where
everything can be taken out, because
Yeah.
you can put it back on the arms with what I've done.
Exactly. Because you reach a point where these things become so valuable and so special that.
Well, look at all the 63 Vettes. No matter how awesome the Grand Sport conversion was,
Oh
on it,
yeah.
it's off and it's back to hubcaps.
Oh, all of them. Yep, for sure. This is so rad. And is this like so the jagged, like the edge? Is this like
Well,
just
and
style or?
I did it to match the. You can think of it as a big bandsaw coming to rip you.
Oh
But
yeah.
then you have, I made chromoly ladder bars,
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
and so that is the same pattern up there,
All right.
off the edge of
Oh wow.
right here.
A little bit of style. Well, you need to make something. Might as well make it cool.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so nice. And this man drove this car since
74.
74.
He's been racing it since 74.
Wow. Imagine that. It's
This
like,
has. Have you ever heard of Chiadella?
I can't say that I have. No.
The aftermarket, it ran these wheels for a decade.
Wow.
Um,
Never seen a black and white thing. So cool.
The traction.
Mm, oh,
We call it circus wheel.
circus wheels. That's that's right. Yeah.
So
But
we
look,
just made these wheels and we did them in a reverse, so they'd have a prettier lip.
yep.
And these are 10s. with
All right.
50s real tires.
Those tires are so rad. And is that Mickey Thompson or is that tire?
These are M&H's, I think.
All right.
Yeah, M&H's. So this can take another 2 inches of wheel and tire.
Crazy. The body looks so nice.
He runs a 671 Littlefield blower.
Oh man, I love
And he
that.
was at 1,000 horse, and they're massively upgrading the crank and rods and
1,000 horse
pistons
from a
and
small
whatnot.
block.
Yeah, and they're going to be at 1,200 now.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons too for going, because he was having traction issues and
Yep.
handling issues and launch issues with the power in the setup that he had. So now it's got a dedicated setup, so he should be much more comfortable in the car.
It's so nice. Like, it's for a race car. It's so incredibly good looking. Oh my God. And this has been there. This has been like this for what? Since
40 years. It went in
40
brand new 40 years ago. This is Chiadella's very first 57 hardtop kit, is they used this car to pattern. And he said when they brought everything and did it all, he said everything fit well except for one of the visors they didn't like, and the quarter panel on one side or the other, rear quarter panel, didn't fit right. And they redid them and came back and everything fit, and it's been in there ever since.
such an amazing. So it's so cool to have a car like that with that actual power and this fitment and finish is crazy. Incredible.
The old asphalt sound deadener still in there, just nice and new.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Wow.
So I made a front end part.
So you went to rack and pinion on this? Is this a kit you can buy or is this from a different
You
car?
can't buy anything. No, I made it all. I just mismatched this and that and the other.
Yeah.
So I took a truck Mustang 2 cross member, split it,
Right.
and sleeved
Oh yeah.
it.
Sleeved it, made it bigger. So this goes
And
in
it's full
here.
perimeter welded, so this couldn't be stronger.
No, that's really
Thi-
beefy.
These tapered rails were built out of this stuff right here.
What the hell did that come off?
It was this piece I bought at the steel yard as rem stock that was yay long,
Nuts.
right?
That's huge.
But I needed that, and I needed a wall thickness. So
Yeah.
I pie sliced it, and when I did it, I cut it at an angle so that I was chamfered,
Oh yeah.
and then I welded the two pieces back together
Oh, man.
to make a tapered beam that inserts
Oh
into
man.
and inserts into the frame horns.
But it looks so, like, if people don't know, it looks like it's, because it has that, like, this is obviously what you're looking for.
Right.
Like, that profile. Otherwise, it's just a square.
And so this is where the stern box is. So this is a piece of 3/8 plate that was
Yeah,
curved
yeah,
and filled into the cup.
So it's
So
all
it just
rack.
looks like it grew there, and it's very, very strong.
And what's the rack off of?
That's what we use for our Mustang 2s.
All right, yeah. And
So
the
here's
spindle,
the
what's
old-
the spindle?
Here's
Is
the
this
old, they're a Mustang 2.
also
Here's-
Mustang?
And the arms are the SLA Mustang 2. So there's the
It's
original
old
cross member.
yeah.
Yeah, and suspension.
We probably needed like 2 people to lift out at least. Like that's heavy as hell. This is
Even
great.
as overbuilt as my stuff it is, I lost a lot of weight in the
Oh
front.
yeah. Well, this is definitely overbuilt, but yeah. Wow. And on air, it's cool.
Yeah, air all the way around with a 4-corner controller.
This is lovely.
So it'll tilt like a hydraulics car.
But it's a pretty popular car. It's weird that there's nothing like for an A body. You can get anything like for
Right.
that, like an A
A
body.
little bit harder with the Galaxies because
Oh, yeah.
they changed so much.
Oh, is that the thing with Ford?
Ford's always changed, and you got to remember, friends don't let friends drive Fords. Why? Because they have 7 different bell housing patterns on the transmissions.
That's true.
To the engine
That's true.
families.
That's true.
So you can't interchange like we can with our Chevy.
Oh, so they kind of forgot how to do that. That's weird.
No, Ford didn't want anybody to sell parts for his cars but
Oh,
him.
no way. He cut
So
off the
he-
aftermarket.
Yes.
That's it. Well, the weird thing to me is always
Protectionism.
like the Thunderbird is like 6 different cars in 40 years time. It's like sort of a Corvette, and then it's like a family sedan, and then it's like a sports coupe. Like the Thunderbird's like so many different
And it
cars.
turned into a big luxury land.
And then it
yacht.
went back. Yeah.
And then went back
yeah.
again
Like
little.
if you it's weird. Like
And then they even did it off of a Ford Fairmont.
yeah. So the
Right?
Thunderbird, like how can you like a Thunderbird, so many different. If you look at BMW, like a 5 Series is always a 5 Series. It
Yeah.
gets a little bigger, but like the Thunderbird's like 4-5 different cars. It's funny. Yeah, the Ford stuff, it's nice. Like I'm not too well versed in Ford, I have to say. I'm a big GM guy, but this is really nice.
Here's some Ford. Yeah, this is one of 2 engines ever built. This is a 2016 NHRA Cobra Jet. So it's a 1,080 horse rated motor
Yeah.
from Ford.
And they do so much RPM. Like that's like the great thing about them. It's a pretty big motor. It's
But
not
this
very
is, This
American.
is the year they went from like 770 horse to over 1,000.
Yeah.
And this is number 2 of 2 customer motors without buying a car.
All right.
Because you can buy a motor each year. So we made the cooling system for it, and we're doing all the wiring and all the plumbing.
Everything
and
is
all
dash.
the finish of the car.
Yeah. Everything is dash lines on there.
So the lower 2 fittings are for the plate cooler under the intercooler.
Mm-hmm. All
That's
right.
the cooler for that. And then the tank on the end of the radiator is the ballast tank for that non-pressurized system.
Right.
The next 2 up are the dual pass radiator for the block
Right.
with the radiator cap over there, and then run a recovery bottle behind the headlight
Right.
and fender.
Right.
And this is a recovery bottle for the power steering.
And it's also you can't even tell almost that it's a different compartment. It's so cool.
Yeah, there's 8 tanks in that radiator.
That's
It's
pretty
all made
massive.
out of T6 heat-treated billet extrusion.
Wow.
And we miter it and weld it front and back,
That's
and then take all the
amazing.
welds off the outside.
It looks so good. It's definitely a hot rod kind of thing in a performance car.
So you've got the Viper 6-speed, the T56.
Oh yeah.
Magnum. It's a Fab 9 on a 3-link with the push rod
Oh yeah.
conversion to inside.
I made this on a BMW 3 Series about 8 years ago. It was the only one ever made. Because it's more difficult than people think. Like you need to have a certain
Well,
intelligence to make them.
we have lines of force,
Yeah.
right? And arcs.
Well,
So
it's
if you look
also
underneath, you see all the exhausts in place now.
there's also a lot of droop and stuff that you want to account for. That's like a lot different. Oh yeah, wow. Oh wow. This shape of car is so like as a Chevy guy, this is like the Ford I would get. Like the shape of
Yeah,
it is
right?
so good. I like
And
it
this
even
is
better.
not going to have a roll cage or anything. Low
No.
back leather bucket seats.
Because
Like
this
the
is
Lincoln Continental quality interior.
oh yeah.
Right? Super sleeper. You see the plain design on the wheels to make them high. And the rear wheels are over there. But the forge lines are just a very nondescript.
It's so cool.
Right? And then I'm going to black chrome the bumpers.
Right.
And then black anodized the grill.
The paint is so good as well. For a black car, you need to be brave to paint.
Well,
a
I
car,
have a
but
painter for does my stuff. So
it's nuts.
he worked with metal crafters for 14 years.
Oh man.
Metal crafters, you know, they made the cars for the manufacturers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Lear designed this. So
Yeah. It
I
looks
want
like
this-
something from a movie.
I want it for Bonneville.
Oh
What a
right.
class buster.
No way.
Yeah,
Of
look
course.
how narrow the front.
It's got a
see the
Mercedes
bumper?
logo on it though.
Well, I think the owner did that.
Oh, the owner did.
This is 87 Lincoln.
Right. Yeah, so they'll grab like headlights and stuff that's available, of course, because you don't want to
Yes,
make that. Yeah.
You're right. Especially with ODOT and
What is this thing? Is like
So see the step?
Yeah.
There's a step in the floor. So the roof steps up,
Right.
right? And the whole truck is molded one piece.
Oh, it's one piece?
Look at it.
My God. How is that even?
It's stiff and light.
What motors
And
does it have?
This is the roof thickness, this much.
Right.
Same as a boat,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right? And then it runs from the factory a thoroughly hot rodded 464
460.
with full length racing headers with faired in exhaust.
But look at that hood. That hood is so huge. It's so bizarre. What is this?
Where's the exhaust?
Oh, yeah. These things must have cost a fortune when they
Oh,
went
they
here.
were.
Because it's kind of, yeah, it's
And
probably.
these are power windows.
Oh, yeah.
The power windows are go through the drive.
It's kind of like they're obviously trying to tap into the whole private jet thing, but because it's Learjet, of course, obviously.
Now you see how much wider the rear bumper is, and it's a mat.
Oh, yeah. This is so nuts. This thing is crazy.
This is the original plant when you
No
bought this
way,
new
no
and
way.
the dishes and
No
whatnot.
way.
Oh yeah. This has got 30,000 miles on it. Has a Browning microwave,
Browning.
convection
Oh,
Browning,
right. Oh, yeah.
right?
Wow.
And then Dometic appliances, and then all the spaces. Every space in this thing is filled. Every space is accessible.
This thing.
This is a slide out.
Oh, yeah. This must have cost a fortune when it was new, man.
Only 87's got the fuel gauge, altimeters, just unreal onboard air assist,
Altimeter,
front and rear.
What the hell?
And then you got these guys,
Oh, yeah.
and
Wow.
then you have another readout back here for all your tanks,
Oh, yeah.
and then you run your furnaces.
It looks like something from the A-Team series or something that some bad guy would drive or whatever. Like,
Oh yeah, as their business show up.
exactly.
Don't forget to take a look at our website as well, einzel.nl. We ship worldwide, of course, Wisefab, Feal Suspension, our own brand Einzel, gearboxes, quick change differentials, axles, all kinds of things. A lot of fabrication components, of course, air jacks, subframes for quick change, you name it. Drop us an email and we'll hook you up.